What's going on, my aviation enthusiasts, my model airplane collectors, and everybody who just loves aviation, has a burning passion for it. This is Brandon, just a plain guy, and I'm coming to you today with another model review. This model right here, once again, needs no introduction, but for the sake of this video and unboxing and review, the Delta A330-900neo in the Team USA livery. I purchased this model off of the Delta Airlines website via GeminiJets. I think you guys can go ahead and get this. I think there's still some models out there, especially on the GeminiJets website. There should be. And then, you know, this model's it's still pretty active. It's still a few models that you can find out here in this livery. So yeah, check out the Gemini website. Check out the Delta website. They might have some on their website as well. And yeah, we're going to get into this model unboxing. We're going to get down to some of the information on how Delta Airlines came into being. As you can see, it's a very gorgeous livery, the Team USA livery. We get this aircraft in and out of LAX on a daily basis, almost. And it's a really nice aircraft to have in your collection. Yeah, the A330neos. The A330neos are starting to grow on me a lot. Very, very beautiful aircraft. Very sleek, very luxurious. I haven't had the chance to fly on one yet. But you can tell what it is, you know, when you see it coming in, when you see it landing. It's just a beautiful aircraft. I wasn't going to get this. But then again, I saw a lot of people, you know, expressing their love for it, you know, expressing the detail to it, and so I said, okay, let me go ahead and pick mine up. I didn't want to miss the train, you know. So let's get into it. Hope everybody's doing well. So we're going to get into a little bit of the information of how Delta Airlines came into being. Okay, Delta Airlines is one of the major airlines of the United States and a legacy carrier. One of the world's oldest airlines in operation. Delta is headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. The airline, along with its subsidiaries and regional affiliates, including Delta Connection, operates over 5,400 flights daily and serves 325 destinations in 52 countries on 6 continents. Delta is the founding member of the SkyTeam Alliance. As of the end of 2022, it had 90,000 employees. Delta has 9 hubs, with Atlanta being its largest in terms of total passengers and number of departures. It is ranked second among the world's largest airlines by number of passengers carried, passenger miles flown, and fleet size. It is ranked first by revenue of commercially owned airline companies and the 13th on the Fortune 500. The history of Delta Airlines begins with the world's first aerial crop dusting operation called Huff Dayland Dusters. The company was founded on March 2nd, 1925 in Macon, Georgia, before moving to Monroe, Louisiana in the summer of 1925. It flew a Huff Dayland Duster, the first true crop duster, designed to combat the boll weevil infestation of cotton crops. C.E. Woolman, general manager and later Delta's first CEO, led a group of local investors to acquire the company's assets. Delta Air Service was incorporated on December 3rd, 1928, and was named after the Mississippi Delta region. It's pretty interesting. Passenger operations began on June 17, 1929, from Dallas, Texas to Jackson, Mississippi, with stops at Shreveport and Monroe, Louisiana. By June 1930, service had extended east to Atlanta and west to Fort Worth, Texas. Passenger service ceased October 1930 when the airmail contract for the route Delta had pioneered was awarded to another airline, which purchased the assets of Delta Air Service. Local banker Travis Oliver, acting as a trustee, C.E. Woolman and other local investors purchased back the crop dusting assets of Delta Air Service and incorporated as Delta Air Corporation on December 31st, 1930. Delta Air Corporation secured an air mail contract in 1934 and began doing business as Delta Airlines over Mail Route 24, stretching from Fort Worth, Texas to Charleston, South Carolina. Delta moved its headquarters from Monroe, Louisiana to its current location in Atlanta in 1941. The company name officially became Delta Airlines in 1945. In 1946, the company commenced regularly scheduled freight transport. In 1949, the company launched the first discounted fares between Chicago and Miami. In 1953, the company launched its first international routes after the acquisition of Chicago and Southern Airlines. In 1959, it was the first airline to fly the Douglas DC-8. In 1960, it was the first airline to fly Convair 888 jets. In 1964, it launched the Deltamatic reservation systems using computers in the IBM 7070 series. In 1965, Delta was the first airline to fly the McDonnell Douglas DC-9. By 1970, Delta had an all-jet fleet, and in 1972, it acquired Northwest Airlines. Transatlantic service began in 1978 with the first nonstop flights from Atlanta to London. In 1981, Delta launched a frequent flyer program. In 1987, it acquired Western Airlines, and that same year, Delta began Trans-Pacific service, Atlanta to Portland, Oregon to Tokyo. In 1990, Delta was the first airline in the United States to fly McDonnell Douglas's MD-11 jets. In 1991, that's when I was born, it acquired substantially all of Pan Am's transatlantic routes and the Pan Am shuttle, rebranded as the Delta Shuttle. Delta was now the leading airline across the Atlantic. In 1997, Delta was the first airline to board more than 100 million passengers in a calendar year. Also that year, Delta began expansion of its international routes into Latin America. In 2003, the company launched Song, a low-cost carrier. A little more information. Acquisition of Northwest Airlines, 2008 through 2010. The acquisition of Northwest Airlines was announced on April 14th, 2008. It was approved and consumed on October 29, 2008. Sorry about that. Northwest continued to operate as a wholly owned subsidiary of Delta until December 31st, 2009. Delta completed integration with Northwest on January 31st, 2010, when their computer reservation system and websites were combined, and the Northwest Airlines brand was officially retired. Let's go to some of the destinations. Delta currently has 9 hubs. Atlanta, Delta's hub for the southern eastern United States and its main gateway to Latin America and the Caribbean. In addition to its corporate headquarters, Delta operates its primary hub in Atlanta, as well as Delta Tech Ops, which is Delta's primary maintenance base. Boston, Delta's secondary transatlantic hub. It offers services to destinations in Europe and North America. Detroit, one of Delta's 2 Midwest hubs. It is the primary Asian gateway for the eastern United States, and it also provides service to many destinations in the Americas and Europe, former Northwest Airlines hub. Los Angeles, Delta's secondary hub for the West Coast. It offers services to cities in Latin America, Asia, Australia, Europe, and major domestic cities and West Coast regional destinations, with 20% of the airport's market share in 2022. Delta is the largest carrier at LAX. Now, I work for United, okay? I work for United, but I will say Delta has a large presence here at LAX. Okay, Minneapolis-St. Paul, one of Delta's 2 Midwest hubs. It is the primary Canadian gateway for the airline and also serves many American metropolitan destinations. A number of regional destinations in the upper Midwest and some select destinations in Europe and Asia. That's a former Northwest Airlines hub. New York, JFK, Delta's primary transatlantic hub. The hub also serves on many transcontinental prestige routes to Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Seattle. New York, LaGuardia, Delta's second New York hub. Delta's service at LaGuardia covers numerous East Coast U.S. cities and a number of regional destinations in the U.S. and Canada. My God, that's a long list. Salt Lake City, Delta's hub for the Rocky Mountain region of the United States. Delta service covers most major U.S. destinations and a number of regional destinations in the U.S., emphasizing on the Rocky Mountains and select destinations in Canada. My mouth is getting kind of dry. And Mexico and select cities in Europe and Hawaii. Get your breath. Here we go. Seattle, Tacoma, Delta's primary West Coast hub. The hub serves as an international gateway to Asia for the Western United States. Delta service also includes many major U.S. destinations as well as regional destinations in the Pacific Northwest. My Lord, that's a lot. Okay, so you guys see that. So let's get into the Team USA livery and how it came about. Now this is old news because apparently, obviously this aircraft has been out for a couple years now. So all the stuff that I'm reading here is it's pretty old. But here we go. For the first time ever, a Delta jet touched down on the runway at Whitman Regional Airport in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, to take part in the EAA Air Venture. The chartered Airbus A330-900neo, wearing a special Team USA livery, featured prominently both as a static display and an in-flight demonstration during its brief 30-hour layover in Oshkosh. Air Venture, a week-long festival hosted annually by Experimental Aircraft Association, is often called the world's largest aviation celebration. The event draws more than 500,000 pilots and aviation enthusiasts from around the world, along with over 10,000 aircraft of various types and vintages. Delta's expanded participation in Air Venture this year was driven by employee feedback asking for greater brand presence at the annual event. The registration number that we're looking at here, November 411 Delta X-Ray. Delta's expanded participation in Air Venture this year was driven by employee feedback asking for greater brand presence at the annual event. Delta ship number 3411 arrived in Oshkosh the morning of Monday, July 25th, following a brief charter flight from Detroit with several dozen employee volunteers who engaged with the public, promoted our brand, and supported recruitment initiatives, including the Delta Propel Pilot Career Pathway Program throughout the week. The following afternoon, Ship 3411 performed a brief demonstration of showgoers featuring several passes over the airfield before immediately departing for a return to passenger service. Okay. In addition to the customer value, our presence here gives us a chance to talk with young people about Delta beyond the airplane, which is an attention grabber, and about careers, future aspirations, empowering the future, said Patrick Burns, VP Flight Operations and System Chief Pilot. Ship 3411 generated great interest and drew more than 4,000 visitors during the 8-hour period it was open to the public for tours, providing a golden opportunity for Delta people to share their passion for flying and inspire the next generation of aviators. Among those who toured the state-of-the-art wide-body jet included many current and former Delta employees who attended the event as fans of aviation, along with all aspiring pilots of all ages. The walkthrough tour of Ship 3411 gave guests access to the entire passenger cabin, including our new Delta Premium Select seating and our award-winning Delta One suites, along with their refreshed amenity kits and bedding, before culminating in a visit to the A330-900neo flight deck. Along the way, guests touring each cabin had the opportunity to engage with Delta pilots stationed throughout the aircraft. Ship 3411 was delivered to Delta in May 2021 and is one of 15 A330neos in service with the airline. Okay. The aircraft was unveiled with its distinctive livery in December of 2021 in celebration of Delta's 8-year commitment to serve as the official airline of Team USA, beginning with the Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games, Beijing 2022. Delta will manage travel for Team USA throughout the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Games. Okay, so I think that's about it. So that's a pretty hefty resume that Delta has, and we already know the prestige and how Delta came about. To me, honestly, it's one of the more historic backgrounds to an aircraft. And yeah, I'm sorry, but I need some water because that's a lot of stuff to read. But yeah, so that was a little bit of the history of the airline, how it came into being, and how it is what it is today. So without further ado, let's get into the model, and let's just start doing a little close-up. You guys gotta excuse my camera. I have to tighten it down a little bit here, but let's get a tight shot. Hold on a minute. There we go. So I think this will focus because it's the white. See? So it's going to focus a lot more because the fuselage is practically all white. So you can kind of zoom in and really get all the details on that one, which is kind of cool. So, okay, yeah, I guess I spoke too soon, huh? So let's, there we go. That's as best as we're going to get. Okay, so starting with the left side of the aircraft, of course, we have our fuselage in all its glory. So we have our cockpit windows. We have the SkyTeam livery logo. We have our L1 door with all the markings and all the configurations on how to open the door. We have our beautiful Delta logo with our American flag and the USA emblem. And then also, too, it says official airline, of course, it's the official airline of the USA Olympics and Paralympics. And they're going to be going, as I read, through 2028 when it comes here to Los Angeles. And then one thing I like about this Neo, is the cockpit windows. I really like the cockpit windows. It almost looks like that raccoon. Excuse me. It almost looks like that raccoon, kind of like, you know how the raccoons have the dark, like, glasses around their eyes. So I do like that. That's a nice little touch, nice little sweet touch, you know. So going down, we have our nose cone, we have our pitot tubes, static ports, static wicks. Our beautiful landing gear. We see our landing gear struts. We see our nose gear doors. We have our partial, looks like it's the full registration, partial registration, excuse me. And the registration on that is, let me see, 3411. And then, you know, going down, I don't have my pen on me right now, so I can't point. But you guys can get the idea of it. So we have a beautiful nose gear, very detailed, highly detailed, even down to the hubcaps of the nose gear. Okay, we're gonna go down. We're gonna go down the fuselage. Okay, we have that beautiful Team USA livery. You know, very clean, very crisp. Not doing too much. You know, it's not too loud. You know, we like a nice consistency on our aircraft. I really like these Airbus A330neos. I didn't think it was gonna grow on me. But they are growing on me, especially that Virgin Atlantic A330neo. You know, I was never against Airbus, but they I'm trying to look up something right here, bear with me. I was never against Airbus, but I as far as Airbus wide bodies, these A330s, they are really state of the art. I'm telling you. And hopefully I get to fly on one soon. But let's go to these engines real quick. So these engines on the Airbus A330neo, these are the Rolls-Royce Trent 7000 engines. And they generate a thrust rating of 68,000 to 72,000 pounds of force in each engine. So where's my pen at? Let me get my pen right here. So the engine blades do spin, I think. I haven't opened this one up in a long time. So yeah, they do spin. Oh, you guys can't even see that. Get your hand out the way, Brandon. So if you guys can see that, the engine blades do spin. I know it's probably not the best angle, but you guys can see it. And we're gonna turn this bad boy back around here. So here we have our main landing gear right here. You see the struts, the nose, the engine, excuse me. Yes, you see our struts and the landing gear doors. They do tilt. They tilt pretty well. And as we say, we have our Rolls-Royce Trent 7000 engine right here. Okay. And our beautiful Team USA logo. Going down the wing. We have that beautiful blended winglet. I don't know if that's gonna focus. Probably not, but you guys can see it. We have that beautiful winglet right there, blended right into the wing. And then going back down to the fuselage. There's our registration, November 411, Delta X-ray. And then we have some beautiful stars and stripes right there at the end of the fuselage. Going up to the classic, iconic Delta tail with the registration, the partial registration on top of the tail. You see our rudder right here. You see the markings for our tail rudder going right there. Okay. And so before we get to the APU exhaust, let's go back to the top of the plane. So we have one high efficient what's it called? High frequency antenna. If you look up at top, we have our anti-collision beacon with an actual jewel. Okay. We have our Wi-Fi box that provides the in-flight entertainment. Another high frequency antenna. Another high frequency antenna. And then that is it for the top of the fuselage. So let's go to the back of the plane here. I need to be careful with this one because my landing gear is kind of funky right now, so I got to be careful how I handle this one. But as you can see, we have our APU exhaust right there. If we zoom in, that's our APU exhaust. And if you can see at the bottom of the APU, let me try to lock it in right here. Okay, so if you see at the bottom of the APU, we have our APU housing right under there, very detailed. I'm not going to pick this model up because my right side main landing gear, for some reason, it's not as magnetic as it should be, so it keeps falling out. So I'm not gonna lift that up for you guys to see today. Just a piece of advice: not every model you get is gonna stand the test of time. I mean, some models, they do have little pieces that come off. But yeah, it's a beautiful aircraft. Like I said, for the sole purpose of my main landing gear, I'm not going to well, maybe, let me see. Well, I'll show you guys the right side of the aircraft. It's pretty self-explanatory, pretty much the same thing. But I just don't want my landing gear to fall off. But we'll try to turn it around. Matter of fact, I'll give you guys a front view of this beautiful A330-900neo. Let me just focus up right here. Okay. So that's the front view right there. And as I said, the engines do spin. I will show you guys that one more time. As soon as I can tighten in here. Okay, so I'll give you guys a little overhead view of the engine spinning, just so you guys can see, if you guys want to get this model, the engine blades do spin. Okay. All right. So we have our inboard landing. We have our inboard landing lights right there. It's not a jewel. I know most aircraft or most models, they have the jewel, but the inboard landing lights right there. Okay. And so I'm gonna pan out a little bit. Hopefully it will focus. It's not focusing as what we like. Sorry about that. My phone's going off. It's always when you're, oh wow, okay, now we got some good focus. So I guess the phone has something to do with that. So we have our nose cone right here, and that's where all our weather, radar sensory is, and all that navigation, you name it. We have our beautiful cockpit windows. We have like the raccoon type style windows. That's one feature I really like about the Airbus 330 Neos and the A350s. I like that that raccoon style right there. Oh boy, everybody keeps calling me. Everybody keeps calling me. So yeah, don't you hate that? Everybody just wants to call you when you're making a video. So those engines do spin as well. I'm going to end this video because I don't know if I'm going to get another call or not. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this brief interrupted model review. And so we're going to so it comes with a stand. I'm not going to show you guys the stand today. It's the basic stand. The basic, wood stand that GeminiJets, offers. So that's really not much to look at right there. So there we go. Oh boy. People cannot wait until you're done doing what you're doing. I guess it's a good thing to be wanted, right? Everybody wants to call you. So anyway, everybody, here's the model. This is the Delta A330-900neo by GeminiJets in the 1 to 200 scale. Like I always say, let me know if you guys like this video, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to get out of here before I get 50 more phone calls and texts. And until the next one, stay tuned. I got something special coming. It should be arriving today as we speak. And if it does, I will bring that to you guys tomorrow. And I hope you guys like it. It's another A330neo. So stay on the lookout for that. And many more other model reviews. And until then, this is Just a Plain Guy whose phone is ringing again, even on silent. And I will talk to you guys later. Peace.